In this video, we are going to talk about ethics and workplace between employer and employee. First, let us understand workplace ethics and behavior. Workplace ethics and behavior are a crucial part of employment, as both are aspects that can assist a company in its efforts to be profitable. In fact, ethics and behavior are just as important to most companies as performance, as high morale and teamwork are two ingredients for success. Every business in every industry has certain guidelines to which its employees must adhere, and frequently outline such aspects in employee handbooks. Behavior. All companies specify what is acceptable behavior, and what is not, when hiring an employee. Many even summarize expected conduct in job descriptions or during the interview process. Behavior guidelines typically address topics such as harassment, work attire and language. Workers who don't follow codes of conduct may receive written and verbal warnings, and ultimately be fired. Integrity. A key component to workplace ethics and behavior is integrity, or being honest and doing the right thing at all times. For example, healthcare employees who work with mentally or physically challenged patients must possess a high degree of integrity, as those who manage and work primarily with money. Workers with integrity also avoid gossip and sneakiness while on the job. Accountability. Taking responsibility for your actions is another major factor when it comes to workplace ethics and behavior. That means showing up on scheduled work days, as well as arriving on time and putting in an honest effort while on the job. Workers who exhibit accountability are honest when things go wrong, then work toward a resolution while remaining professional all the while. Teamwork. A vital aspect of the workplace is working well with others. That includes everyone from peers to supervisors to customers. While not all employees will always like each other, they do need to set aside their personal or even work-related differences to reach a larger goal. In many instances, those who are not considered team players can face demotion or even termination. On the other hand, those who work well with others often can advance on that aspect alone, with teamwork sometimes even outweighing performance. So now, let's talk about the main idea, which is ethics in workplace between employee and employer. A recurring theme in inquiries to the OSHA Ethics Division is employer demands. That is, employers requesting that our members and certificate holders engage in conduct that places them at risk for violating their ethical responsibilities. Ethically compromising requests might be to use culturally insensitive tests in order to qualify a child for service. Request additional increments of treatment in order to cover travel expenses. Sign for Medicaid services in schools for children whom they have never seen and whose care they have not supervised. Provide treatment with which they disagree as a result of parent insistence. Provide treatment for which they have had no training or experience. With employers under the jurisdiction of OSHA's Code of Ethics, an employee may have recourse through filing an ethics complaint. There is little recourse for such action when the employer is outside of OSHA's jurisdiction, but read on for some ideas. Demands are often made by employers who have no awareness of their employees' need to adhere to a code of ethics. As employers, how do we acknowledge our employees' ethical obligations? How do we foster ethical decision-making practices among our employees? Or handle issues raised when employees must satisfy multiple codes of ethics, conduct by licensing, profession, or employment setting obligations? As employers, we need to familiarize ourselves with the codes of ethics of our employees' professions. We can review workplace practices and regulatory requirements in relation to the ethical responsibilities our employees must fulfill. We can create an ethics-friendly environment by promoting ethics discussion and analysis of ethical issues that emerge. We can implement conflict resolution practices to avoid situations that rise to the level where an ethics complaint is filed. We can encourage ethics education by conducting case reviews to improve skills for anticipating potential ethical predicaments and handling them responsibly. We can encourage discussions of the code of ethics of each of the professions represented in our workplace in a compare and contrast fashion. We can expect our employees to be knowledgeable about professional ethics and serious about fulfilling their affirmative ethical obligations. As employees, we can use every opportunity available in our workplace to inform and educate coworkers, administrators, and union leaders about professional ethics, especially if our employer, or administrator, is not a member of the profession. At the time of interview, ask if the employer's business entity or school district has a code of conduct or code of ethics. Ask employers how they foster ethically responsible professional practice. Work to establish conflict resolution strategies to seek solutions to ethically compromising issues. Union members should recognize their membership as a valuable resource, especially when they are reluctant to complain about employer demands because of fear of retaliation. So now, why is it important to have workplace ethics between employer and employee? Workplace ethics ensures positive ambience at the workplace. Workplace ethics leads to happy and satisfied employees who enjoy coming to work rather than treating it as a mere source of burden. Employees also develop a feeling of loyalty and attachment towards the organization. Organizations need to have foolproof systems to measure the performances of individuals. Appraisal system needs to be designed keeping in mind employees' performance throughout the year and her career growth. Periodic reviews are essential. It is mandatory for superiors to know what their subordinates are up to. You need to know who all are going on the right track and who all need that extra push. Workplace ethics ensures management guides and mentors their employees well. Appraisal and salary hikes should not happen just for the namesake. Workplace ethics is important as it enables management to treat all employees as equal and think from their perspective as well. Employees must have a say in their appraisal system. Transparency is essential. An employee is bound to move on after a year or so if he or she is not appreciated and rewarded suitably. It is indeed the organization's loss when employees after being trained quit and move on. Do you think it is entirely the employee's fault? Why would an employee move on if he or she is fully satisfied with his/her current assignment? Employees change primarily because of two reasons: career growth and monetary benefits. Management needs to make employees feel secure about their job and career. Unnecessary favoritism is against workplace ethics. If you favor anyone just because he is your relative, the other team members are bound to feel demotivated and thus start looking for new opportunities. An individual's output throughout the year should decide his/her increment. Organizations need to stand by their employees even at the times of crisis. You cannot ask your employees to go just because you don't need them anymore or your work is over. Such a practice is unethical. How can you play with someone's career? If an individual has performed well all through but fails to deliver once or twice, you just can't kick him out of the system. Workplace ethics says that organizations need to retain and nurture talents. If you have hired someone, it becomes your responsibility to train the individual, make him/her aware of the key responsibility areas, policies, rules and regulations and code of conduct of the organization. Employees need to be inducted well into the system. They must be aware of the organization's policies from the very first day itself. Workplace ethics also go a long way in strengthening the bond among employees and most importantly their superiors. Employees tend to lie if you do not allow them to take leaves. If you do not allow an employee to take leave on an important festival, what do you expect the employee to do? What is the alternative left with him? He would definitely lie. Do not exploit your employees and don't treat them as machines. No employee can work at a stretch without taking a break. It is okay if they talk to their fellow workers once in a while or go out for a smoke break. Understand their problems as well. If you feel the problem is genuine, do not create an issue. It is but natural that once or twice they would definitely call their family members and inquire about their well-being. Superiors should not have a problem with that. It has been observed that organizations which are impartial to employees, lend a sympathetic ear to their grievances and are employee-friendly seldom face the problems of unsatisfied employees and high attrition rate. From this video, we can conclude that both employer and employee need to practice ethical in workplace as it lead to a better working environment. Thank you for watching.